This is Mac OS Ken.
Fallout continues from DMAmageddon. The rest of Apple's OS updates have arrived, and baseball is headed back to Apple TV+. It is Friday, the 8th of March, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. It looks like both Epic and Apple are in the "and find out" phase. Remember the news yesterday that Apple had killed Epic's developer account in the European Union? News today that the European Union is looking into it. Giving this as little recap as possible, Apple says it doesn't trust Epic to play by its rules. That's said to be thanks to all the stuff Epic CEO Tim Sweeney keeps saying against Apple, and Epic's complete violation of their developer agreement back in the futuristic sounding, but in retrospect, really summer of 2020. Via email, Apple fellow Phil Schiller asked Sweeney to lay out why Apple should trust Epic this time. Sweeney basically said, because you should. Apparently unconvinced, Apple killed Epic's developer account in the European Union, and with it, Epic's plans for a third-party app store for iOS. Now a piece from Engadget says the EU is looking into that move. Actually, Engadget says Bloomberg says. Quoting the one, referencing the other, the European Union has entered the latest clash between Apple and Epic Games. Bloomberg reports that regulators will question Apple over its choice to ban Epic's developer account. The Fortnite creator claims this action prevents it from launching the Epic Games Store in Europe. There is a lot on the line here, even for a company as big as Apple. If the EU decides that Apple's move violates the Digital Markets Act, still with that brand new DMA smell, Engadget says Apple could be forced to pay 10% of its annual worldwide revenue and 20% if it's a repeat offender. We know how long the grace period is for EU travelers and third-party app stores. I told you yesterday of a support document from Apple addressing such concerns. What Apple had said was that folks leaving the European Union for short-term travel would continue to have access to alternative app marketplaces for a grace period. If they were gone for too long, though, they'd lose access to some features. What was unclear yesterday was how long was too long as far as Apple was concerned. Now a piece from Mac Rumor says that has been cleared up. In an updated support doc, Apple says alternative app marketplaces can continue updating associated apps for up to 30 days after travelers leave the European Union, and they can continue using alternative app marketplaces to manage previously installed apps. That said, it sounds like the 30-day grace period is pretty much just about maintenance. The support doc says travelers must be in the European Union to install alternative app marketplaces, as well as new apps from those third-party markets. One of the iOS requirements for the Digital Markets Act is making it easy for people to leave iOS. Of course, that's probably not what the EU calls it. The piece on the requirement from 9 to 5 Google refers to the regulation as improved user data portability, and that is a thing on which Apple is working. According to Apple's non-confidential summary of DMA compliance report, third parties offer migration solutions that help users transfer data between devices with different operating systems. To build on those options, Apple is developing a solution that helps mobile operating system providers develop more user-friendly solutions to transfer data from an iPhone to a non-Apple phone. Apple aims to make this solution available by fall of 2025. Additionally, the post says Apple is also creating a browser switching solution for exporting and importing relevant browser data into another browser on the same device. Apple aims to make this solution available by late 2024 or early 25. Here come the rest of Apple's OS updates. A few days after the DMA prompted release of iOS 17.4 and its identical twin for iPad. A few pieces from Mac rumors of Apple releasing OS updates for everything else. For your run-of-the-mill desktops and laptops, Apple has released macOS Sonoma 14.4. With it come new emoji, transcripts for Apple Podcasts, new features for business updates and messages according to Mac rumors, as well as a toggle for showing only icons for websites in the Safari Favorites bar. There are also several security issues addressed, including the kernel and RT-kit issues that Apple has heard have been actively exploited. Apple also released security updates for macOS Ventura and macOS Monterey, so added security for all of your relatively recent Macs. To the wrist we go, where we find Apple releasing watchOS 10.4. Mac Rumor says that update adds those new emoji about which we've been hearing. There's also said to be a setting to disable the double tap feature on Apple Watch when using Vision Pro, and an option to double tap to show an expanded notification. The update also addresses a ghost touch bug that was affecting Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2. All of that and security updates as well, so keep time with the latest updates. For tvOS 17.4, security is about the only thing we know for this one. The update addresses 24 security vulnerabilities, including the kernel and RT-kit vulnerabilities mentioned a moment ago. You can pretty much assume that one or both of those are addressed in every update mentioned today. Yes, even the update for visionOS 1.1. So young, so vulnerable. On the headset, Mac Rumor says Apple is making several improvements to the Vision Pro with the visionOS update. Mobile device management is available for businesses, and Persona and EyeSight look better than before. Additionally, the virtual keyboard has been updated to address bugs and make cursor positioning more accurate, and there are also bug fixes for the Mac Virtual Display. One last update about which to tell you. Apple on Thursday released HomePod software 17.4. This one apparently bent on making its associated devices smarter. According to a note cited by Mac Rumors, this update enables Apple's virtual assistant to learn your preferred media service, so you no longer need to include the name of the media app in your request. So if you're a Deezer dude or dudette, you should be able to tell the thing to play T.O.K. or Champs-Élysées without having to say, on Deezer, or whatever else. Streaming music services need to support HomePod for the feature to work, according to the report. Third-party apps that do work directly with Apple's Smarter by the Update speaker include the aforementioned Deezer, iHeartRadio, Pandora, TuneIn, and YouTube Music. Mac Rumor says users can play content from other services through HomePod, though Apple's virtual assistant routes the audio through an associated device to HomePod via AirPlay. Baseball is on the way back to Apple TV+. On Thursday, says a piece from Apple Insider, Apple and Major League Baseball announced that Apple TV Plus subscribers can watch Friday Night Baseball every Friday during the 2024 regular season. As in years past, fans will get 2 games each Friday. That'll run for 26 weeks with no broadcast restrictions. First pitch for the Apple TV Plus offering is thrown on the 29th of March when the Houston Astros host the New York Yankees. That game starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Game 2 of the opening doubleheader will see the St. Louis Cardinals land at LA's Dodger Stadium. That game starts at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And finally today, funny man Eugene Levy is hitting the road again and hitting Apple TV+. Premiering today on Cupertino's Answer to Cable, it is the second season of The Reluctant Traveler with Eugene Levy. After confronting some of his long-held fears in Season 1, Apple says Emmy Award winner Eugene Levy steps out of his comfort zone once again. This time, he's embarking on a must-do journey for any respectable globetrotter, a grand tour of Europe. 7 episodes in Season 2, trekking the continent from north to south. Along the way, Apple says Levy unearths stunning hidden local gems, discovers his family tree, and attempts to broaden his taste buds while experiencing the region's unique destinations. The first 2 episodes of the second season are streaming now on Apple TV+. This week on the checklist, brought to you by SecureMac, we'll go a bit deeper on the security side of this week's OS updates from Apple, plus why a $30 video doorbell is probably not a great idea, and the security risks inherent in being that guy. Hear it all on Checklist 366, brought to you by SecureMac. Find it today, wherever you find podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.